Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Jannah Talks. So I did promise you guys a 2-year update on wearing my niqab and kind of like what my journey has been so far. So I'm just gonna jump right in. This is I didn't write anything down, so I'm just freely talking about like the most memorable things that has happened, whether good or bad. And honestly, I only got one bad thing to say. And the only bad thing that I can really tell you guys that I've experienced wearing my niqab over the past 2 years, or since the past 2 years, because I've been wearing it longer than 2 years, is really this one particular incident, and it breaks my heart because I don't even know why people would say such mean things. But essentially, I was at the mall one day, and I was literally just going to pick up a single item, and I was coming down the escalator, and there was a group of young women, and they were going up the escalator, and they were basically like, oh, that's the witch from Hansel and Gretel. And I was like, for a second, I'm like, is there someone behind me? Like, let me check. But yeah, no, they were definitely talking about me, and they made it pretty loud, and they definitely had some giggles for making that joke, and definitely I was hurt. And I think that was the most negative experience that I've experienced with having the niqab on. It's the only really big thing worth mentioning, just that one incident. But just like some fluff around that is people are always going to think or say something mean to you, no matter what. Someone, they could just be obese and someone has something to say about them. They could be extremely slim and you don't know what they're suffering with, and someone's gonna have something to say about them. I wore the niqab, I had on all black, and they saw it suitable to call me a witch, so be it. So that was like my most negative experience, and like I'm really sorry to report that, but it is something that happened, and it did hurt my feelings and it did bring me down. But I'm so grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving me strength and for giving me courage and for giving me the ability to keep my niqab on, and for not making it the reason for me to take it off. Like, you need to have thick skin. If you don't have thick skin, you're going to be hurt, you're going to take it personal, and you're going to let that be your downfall. And I don't want it to be mine. So I persevered, I pushed through it, I pushed through the tears, and I made it to my car. And you know what? I made it home safely, and I woke up and it was a new day, and it moved on. So besides that being the most negative thing, some positive things that has happened over the past 2 years with my niqab is it was not a barrier for me to land the job. And that was something I was really concerned about. That was something my husband was concerned about. Everybody was concerned about that. But alhamdulillah, it has not been a barrier for me to land a position. And also, surprisingly, the niqab has also encouraged people who are non-Muslims inquiring about the faith. So one of the biggest benefits and pros that I've noticed is that people are interested in Islam and like just finding out things about Islam. It could be something as simple as, what is Eid, like, why do you guys slaughter the cow, or something as simple as that. But it was a conduit for having some type of conversation about Islam. And last but not least, I would say the biggest benefit is that my niqab, I have seen in the past 2 years that men in particular, they treat me completely different. And I'm the best person to give you examples of this, because when I was not a Muslim, I dressed as a regular person, and My clothing was more form-fitting, and it was more not in compliance with Islamic customs and with the Sunnah. And we all know like what that looks like, so I don't need to explain further. But what I do need to explain is to tell you guys that the way I was treated then versus the way that I'm treated now, it's night and day, you know. I would see a group of women in front of me, and they will have on, let's say, shorts or some type of like, you know, more revealing clothing, and like you will hear the hollers, you will hear the whistles, you will hear it from the men. And the moment that, you know, I'm passing by that exact same place, it is complete silence. It is complete silence. And they do not holler, whistle, or nothing. And subhanallah, the actually the biggest reaction I've seen is either complete silence, or they actually feel some type of shame and they literally put their heads down. And again, I'm not talking about my brothers in Islam. I'm talking about the regular people on the street that are just seeing me in passing, or I'm passing, and they happen to be right there. So that is the biggest pro that I can say that I have experienced, is just having that respect. And it's a joy to actually, you know, comfortably walk on the street without feeling like I'm a piece of meat, you know. And I credit all of it to my niqab, to the way I dress, and to my modesty. I strongly believe that without my modesty, I would not be much different or look that much differently than those other females that choose to dress that way. And again, I'm not judging people. I'm not here to judge. You know, I'm here to tell you my experience following the Sunnah, and how much of a blessing that has been for me. So those are like my top 3 positive things that has happened wearing the niqab. And I do encourage anyone that is really considering or like strongly debating if they want to wear this niqab or not, like gather the courage, pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide you, to give you the strength, because you're going to need it. And definitely just take care of yourself when you're out there. Make sure you have someone around you as much as you can. And if you are a working sister, just understanding that you might just have to navigate the people that you're associated with a little differently, but it doesn't mean that you can't work and be a successful professional person without your niqab. You could definitely do it with your niqab if you so choose to do that. And I'm going to definitely make another video that kind of like talks about just work and having a niqab and being the only niqabi at work. If you're interested in that, definitely tune in later for one of those videos. That's pretty much it for today, guys. I'm gonna end this video right now, and I'm going to drop another video later on, probably later on this week or next week. But for now, take care, be well, and stay safe. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.